Hi, I'm Fleur from Maison Fleur Patterns, and I'm at Workroom Social, a sewing studio based in Brooklyn where we teach garment sewing from intensive dressmaking all the way through to swimsuits. Today I'm going to show you some tutorials where I take you through sewing with stretch fabrics so you can be more comfortable sewing swimsuits and underwear. So let's get sewing. So what we're going to look at now is how to make rouleau straps for swimsuits. You can see that they're very stretchy, nice and thin, and what I like to do is add in elastic inside as I'm sewing the rouleau strap just to give it a bit more strength so that it doesn't stretch out so easily. So how you do that is by getting your fabric. It's usually a long rectangle with the seam allowance added, and you're going to fold it in half lengthwise. And I like to use a couple of pins just to keep it all together because it's quite fiddly. And with spandex, it tends to want to flatten out or roll up. So put a couple of pins along the length. Okay, so now we've got a couple of pins. You can go all the way along the edge, but just for demonstration, I'm just going to put in a few. Then I'm going to line that up against my machine, and my seam allowance is 1 centimetre, so that's about 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to get my elastic. Now you can use clear elastic, it's very thin, very fine, and I find that strong enough, but for today I've got some rubber elastic with me, which is a little bit thicker and a little wider. And once I've laid my rouleau strap fabric onto the machine, I like to put my elastic down, and I'm going to lay that right up against the edge of the fabric as well, and then bring my needle down to hold it all in place. And with this I just use a regular zigzag stitch. On computerized machines they tend to come as a default, and I use that setting. This is a 5mm wide with a 2mm stitch length, and then all you need to do is stitch along right on top of that elastic. And I'm not stretching anything. I'm going to make sure I stop to take my pins out. I'm allowing the feed dogs to pull the fabric underneath and making sure that everything's staying straight. So it's a finger-like touch as it goes underneath, all the way along right to the end. And when you're done, snip the threads, pull it out, and what you'll have is a zigzag running along the elastic around the edge of the fabric, all in one, so it's gotten a lot more sturdy. So what you then want to do, I've got a shorter one prepared earlier, is you're going to want to turn it the right way round. So I use my trusty loop turner. This is a metallic object. It cost probably a couple of dollars here in the US. But it's a really good tool. You can also use a needle and thread to turn it, but this is my preferred method. So what I do is I push the loop turner right the way through the tube, and then I catch the hook at the top against some of the fabric, and then let it turn its way through. It gets a little bit fiddly at first. There we go, and I just gently, I'm not squeezing the loop as I'm turning it, I'm just gently holding it and pulling that through until it's the right way round. And then unhook your loop turner, and you can see this is a fat rouleau just for the example, but if you're making a rouleau strap for a halterneck, it'll be a lot narrower. And there we have it, that's our rouleau strap.